This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
We've often had discussions on India's biggest soft powers. Many have said that it's Bollywood, but I disagree. I think it's yoga. Is yoga India's biggest and grandest export that has come so far? To discuss that, I have with me a few people who are, can I call them experts? Can I call them just yogis, or people who live yoga every single day? Two teachers who impart yoga, and of course two participants. What is that relationship you share with yoga?
It was a lot of anxiety around who am I, is this all there is, what happens to me when this is gone, and so I had a lot of existential questions. And then I went to a yoga studio in New York, and they had some relationship with other teachers who brought in the Upanishads, and there was this something to know which by knowing sets you free. And so that was for me a little bit kind of the tagline that I've always been following.
Are you free?
Yeah, I mean, yes and yes and no.
Okay, my question again is yoga India's finest export to the world?
You know, I was just thinking about this. I'm not here teaching yoga. I used to actually study with my friend Sri Louise here. But when I was first studying tabla, I remember asking my teacher, do you meditate? Do you practice yoga? Are you Hindu? Are you Muslim? And his answer was, I'm a musician. And you know, if you went to Khan Sahib's house, or his father allowed in Khan Sahib, in Maihar, you can still go to their family home there. And their shrine, and there's Hindu deities and, you know, images representing his devotion to Islam, and Christian deities, and his gurus, his musical gurus, as well as Beethoven and Mozart. So their vision was that yes, it's a great export from India, but it has to be something that if we're talking about truth and freedom and liberation, it has to be a global thing, and it's not an Indian thing. We have to respect the roots of where it comes from, but their vision was that this music belongs to anyone who has a desire to study it, and these practices, I would say, belong to anybody who has a desire to study. And
beyond religion, beyond borders,
of course.
As someone who's just curious about yoga, who's a participant here, what has it given you so far?
Well, I'm just here to, I think, just keep an open mind, and I'm really not a yoga practitioner as the other lady here. I've studied Ayurveda because I'm a doctor, and I've been interested in that, and so I'm just here to kind of keep an open mind and just see see how it unfolds.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Good luck with that.
Thank you.
And you, what does it mean to you? Has it touched you yet?
Yes, it has.
And how?
Well, Muji's teachings are so beneficial. What you said about beyond borders and beyond religions,
Sure.
and it's so encompassing and revealing of who one really is.
Revealing, yes. Yes, very, very different indeed, the perspective, because I've heard calming, I've made peace with myself, but I've heard very few say, I know who I am, who I truly am. A very, very interesting perspective indeed. You said you belong to, or you're closer to the field of Ayurveda, which also originates from India. How is it that Ayurveda has not managed to make it this big in the space, in the world, in the global space as compared to yoga, or has it?
Well, I think that's changing. I think that I'm from the Bay Area, and I see that there's kind of an explosion of Ayurveda and people really seeking like alternative medicine. Coming from a Western medical background, I feel that there are so many patients who want, they're looking for something more alternative, and I think that was my kind of interest in Ayurveda, was to really like understand these like ancient traditions and ancient medicine, and try to see where it fits with the Western tradition. And I think it's really changing now. I think that you're going to see more and more Ayurvedic practitioners and Panchakarma, and that's already happening so much in California, and I think that will continue to change. I've seen that just change dramatically in the few years that I've been studying it.
Lovely. How big is yoga in the US?
It's pretty much a Frankenstein.
And anything that you have learned from any of your students?
There's right very inside.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I think one thing is that I've really learned how to teach for my students. So in watching my students and asking my students to do something and then watching what my students do and then trying to fill the gap, right, with some kind of like, I don't know, so my students have helped me develop a pedagogy for teaching.
Right. Very, very interesting indeed. Anything that any of your student has taught you, because it's part of learning every single day, right? Something that
Well, the thing is, it's funny because Shri and I just sat on this stage and we're on a stage of masters, and I don't mean to put that down, and I respect everybody that's here, but just I'll speak for myself. I mentioned Ustad Zakir Hussain. So his father, the great Ustad Al-Araka, told him when he was a young boy, talented prodigy, he said, don't try to be a master, just try to be a good student. And so when I'm studying from my teacher, I mean, he's talked about, this whole idea of the guru shisha, or teacher disciple. I mean, he hasn't said this exactly, but it's like guru is not a noun, it's a verb. It's an action that happens between people that are devoted to learning. And someone might be sitting in the seat of guru or teacher, and other people in the seat of student or disciple, but that openness has to happen so that knowledge can be transferred. So when I myself am teaching, I'm there as just another student. If I'm teaching something I already know, I'm bored. I'm trying to, because also at least in the musical tradition, you're composing and creating as you teach. You're trying to tune into something and hear something new to teach melodically of the ragas or compositions in the talas and the rhythm cycles. So for me, it's one of the main things that is important about preserving this gift from Indian culture is that teacher-student relationship and the conduit of that knowledge being alive and fresh throughout the generations.
Just beautiful. These words that you use, ragas, thalas, all of these are something that every Indian would relate to, and some very, very prudent lines indeed. It will take some time for you to decipher and comprehend what they mean. Guru is not a noun, it's a verb. Very interesting perspective indeed. And among the other things that India has exported, which includes Ayurveda, yoga, he says classical arts, that space which is just full of discipline. I mean, utmost respect for everyone who pursues classical art, any part of the world they may be in, especially in the UK, which is just so big, because little kids I know who are just taking to the tabla, to the sitar, to the veena. So good luck with all of that. These are of course masters who have said what they said, and it will, like I said, very deep things. It will take some time for normal people like us to even understand what they mean, but someday we'll get there. Thank you very much. More peace in the world. Ayurveda, again from India, the Indian subcontinent, the system of a science on medicine, on roots, and just how to use just about every single ingredient from the Indian kitchen, as my mom puts it, in a way to help you, benefit you, your body, your living in a sense. Ayurveda here is a teacher, if I may use the word, someone who's going to be, Angela Hope is going to be having a session here at the World Yoga Festival in Reading in UK. But how has Ayurveda touched each of you in your lives? I'm going to start with you. What does it mean to you, apart from the fact that it is the science of medicine and so on and so forth?
First and foremost, to me, it's important because it's based on the Vedic teaching from the Atharva Veda and the Rig Veda, which is the oldest book that we have in the world.
Sure.
And in this system, we have it with the science of life, literally. Every aspect of our life is discussed and qualified and quantified, so that if you live with the right measure, then you will have a very happy and peaceful existence.
Right. Right. How has it touched you? Has it touched you, or does it make you more curious?
Well, I agree totally with what Angela said. I'm not an Ayurveda expert as such, but I know that Ayurveda is linked to yoga. There is no way that it cannot be linked, because you have the 5 elements in the food, in your body, around you, and this is important. And if you manage to respect that, then your practice will be better. your life will be better, your health will be better. It is so important.
How do you use it in every single day? Where are you from?
I'm from Switzerland.
From Switzerland. You're from England.
Yes, from here.
From here. Okay. Okay. So we're in your home.
Well, I cook Ayurvedic food because my mom offered me a cookbook in '83 about Ayurvedic food, and I had no clue what it is all about. And when I started to do the teacher's training, Iyengar yoga, then we had to learn how to cook khichdi, right? And then I learned about the spices and everything.
Masala khichdi.
Exactly. And then I had to learn also which dosha I was. And so if you have to do the test of the doshas about 4 times a year, because it can vary according to the season, your age, whatever. And since I understood what doshas I am, I know how to eat and how it makes me feel better in my body.
How do you use Ayurveda in your everyday life?
I don't really know too much about it, but I'm very interested because I only use alternative medicine and I have a lot of skin problems and so obviously that's what I'm looking to see what I can find out. Yeah.
Good luck
Yeah,
with that,
thank
because
you.
we do know that Ayurveda has a little bit for everybody, for every condition, condition, no condition, it's just for well-being. So good luck. I hope you
Thank
find
you.
what you've been looking for.
Mine's pretty much the same as my mum. She's brought me up alternatively, homeopathy, everything. So this is another side of it that I've always wanted to learn about, and to come to a place like this and be able to experience from some of the best experts is perfect. So yeah, just embrace it.
Lovely. And are you from here? Are you in the UK?
Yeah.
Yes,
yes,
UK,
we are. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. So, what is it, since you cook Ayurvedic food every single day, what are some of the most important Indian ingredients that must be there in your kitchen? We're all curious. And we'll all go there for a meal, perhaps, for an Ayurvedic.
Well, it's ginger, cumin, or asana, what is it called? Ajavad seed, asafoetida, garam masala, turmeric powder, garlic. Also depends. Some don't use garlic in the yoga. They say it's too exciting, but if you want to vary a bit the flavors, it's okay. And then chili. Then of course ghee, or I make my own ghee also.
Wow, I don't make
with
my own
organic butter from the Swiss cows. So better than that you can have it.
Yeah, yes. Lovely. Thank you for that. I'll let you go for this session before I wind up. Indeed, so they are headed for a session in Ayurveda here in the UK. Many ingredients of the Indian kitchen which are so magical, which are used by people, millions of people all over the world, and they're hoping that each of them, for its medicinal properties, helps them, cures them, lets them live that much more happily. Ayurveda and its journey continues even as yoga makes it even bigger globally. Radhika Iyer signing off from Reading in the UK. Write your feedback, ooe@ndtv.com. Share your inputs, share what you want to hear about. Thank you.